When you think of Drake, you might think of this guy. But no, we're talking about the way more exciting Francis Drake.
Drake was born between 1540 and 1544 in Devonshire, England.
Drake went on a ship for the first time when he was 18 years old. By the 1560s, he had earned command of his own ship.
In 1567, Drake sailed to Africa with John Hawkins for slave trade. He hated Spain because he tried to sell slaves there, but he was trapped by Spanish people in a Mexican port. He survived, but now he didn't like Spain anymore.
Eventually, Queen Elizabeth gave Drake the right to steal goods from Spanish ports. Drake felt happy because he didn't like Spain.
Queen Elizabeth gave him the title as an official privateer, basically an official pirate.
In 1577, Queen Elizabeth told Drake and 2 other people to sail around South America. But trouble arose. When they arrived in Argentina, Drake had one of them beheaded for plotting against him.
The other commander, John Winter, turned back to England and another commander disappeared. Drake was the only one to reach the Pacific Ocean in 1578.
After stealing more goods from Spanish ports in South America, Drake headed north in search of a passage back to the Atlantic Ocean. He claimed to have sailed 48 degrees north before he headed back because it was too cold. Drake claimed the surrounding land of today's San Francisco and named it New Albion for Queen Elizabeth.
In July 1579, Drake was sailing back west across the Pacific Ocean. He stopped in Molucca Islands in the Philippines and brought spices. Then he sailed around the Cape of Good Hope and arrived in England in September.
Even though the Spanish government didn't like Drake because of his piracy, Drake was honored since he was the first Englishman to go around the globe, and he became a popular hero. Queen Elizabeth knighted him aboard the Golden Hind, a ship navigated by Drake.
In 1585, hostilities were heating up between England and Spain, so Queen Elizabeth I gave Drake a fleet of 25 ships. Drake sailed to the West Indies and constantly stole stuff from the Spanish ports, taking Santiago in the Cape Verde Islands, Cartagena in Colombia, St. Augustine in Florida, and San Domingo. On return voyage, Drake picked up failed colonists from Roanoke Island off the Carolinas, the first English colony in North America.
Then Drake led an even larger fleet of 30 ships into Cadiz, a Spanish port, and destroyed a lot of Spanish vessels getting ready for the Spanish Armada. In 1588, Drake served as a second-in-command to Admiral Charles Howard to celebrate the English victory over the supposedly invincible Spanish.
In the last voyages of his life, Drake kind of failed. He failed an expedition to Portugal in 1589. After a couple of years, Queen Elizabeth I told Drake to do one more voyage against the Spanish possessions in the West Indies in early 1596. The voyage turned out to be a failure. Spain resisted the attacks and Drake came down with the fever.
He died in late January of 1596 off the coast of Puerto Bello, now Panama. All in all, Drake was a dank explorer during the Elizabethan era who plundered the ports of Spain and circumnavigated the globe.